Alrighty, yo, what is going on, everybody? It's your boy, Mr. DDG94, back with another reaction video. Today, we're going to react to the top 10 hip-hop albums from 1996. Alrighty. What's my shit? I think my shit is... Well, we're going to get right into this, and while we're doing this, I'm going to make this quick little edit real quick. I see a piece of my green screen.
What's new, culturalists? This time around, we're going to switch it up for you, taking a whole year's worth of drops and putting them under the microscope for our newly minted #90s mixtape series. No, not that mixtape. Just follow me with this one. We hope you're familiar with 1996, but if not, let's get you caught up on what made this one of hip-hop's most pivotal years. The mid-90s was arguably the genre's most balanced, with East, West, Southern, and Midwestern sounds all establishing themselves. In addition to varying regional production styles, several subgenres of hip-hop were thriving. This set of 10 is just a sample of the music's richness and depth throughout. Subscribe if you haven't already, join the discussion down in the comments, and hit that super thanks button to keep the content flowing. Let's get to it. Number 10, De La Soul, Stakes is High. Lucky for hip-hop heads worldwide, De La Soul's catalog just hit streaming services not too long ago, allowing a whole new era of listeners to check out one of hip-hop's most pivotal acts. As evidenced by the dark and grainy cover, shifting production styles, and its ominous title, Stakes is High is a stark change in the group's upbeat and positive output that led up to it. Primarily due to the departure of Prince Paul, the group's fourth studio album caught fans and critics alike off guard. Despite our critical nature, we're pretty easy to please. Give us a well-placed comment feature on The Business, an early Mos Def verse on Big Brother Beat, and Dilla production on the title track, and we're like kids in the candy store. The album's 18 tracks can definitely feel prolonged, in addition to the group's flow sounding a bit dated, but Stakes is High stands above the albums that failed to make this list because of its blend of hip-hop purism and foresight. When comparing De La to the rest of the native tongues, we think they stand alone in their ability to adapt to the sounds and events of the time. That's not to say they made better music than Tribe or Queen Latifah per se, but the audible difference between where they started and ended up was the most prolific. After a decade of sample disputes and contractual loopholes, it was finally announced in January of 23 that the group's back catalog would be added to streaming services. Unfortunately, just weeks before they would see the fruits of their labor, Trugoy the Dove passed unexpectedly. Rest in peace to the pioneer, and make sure you give their discography a deep dive since it's easier than ever now. Number 9, Lil' Kim, Hardcore. There's not much more to say about Lil' Kim's scorcher of a debut. Raunchy, yes. One of the most influential albums in the genre's history, definitely. While we have reservations about Kim's mirroring of Big, she isn't the only one. With the exception of Jay-Z, we don't think anyone did it better either. Make no mistake, Kim's album title is very fitting, as Hardcore reimagined what was and wasn't acceptable from the ladies in hip-hop. Even with her generous use of Big's flow and delivery, Kimberly Denise Jones had too much charm for it not to break through the surface. Songs like Big Mama Thing, Drugs, and Queen Bitch see the 20-something MC carving out her own space unapologetically. With the former containing disses toward Faith Evans and Tupac, the final vocals would omit any shots at the two, instead being replaced with the whole verse and re-recorded vocals from Kim respectively. Since its release, the album has been universally regarded as a classic, enjoying immense commercial success. Hardcore occupies one of the most perplexing spots in hip-hop, being both immeasurably influenced and influential. So while we would otherwise argue for it to climb a spot or two higher on the list, we think everything that follows it is either a better quality album, more innovative, or a combination of the two. Let us know down in the comments what comes to mind first.
Let me see then. What y'all got? What y'all got?
8, the Fugees.
Alright.
Fuji Law was in full effect when Lauren, Wyclef, and Pras emerged onto the scene with the score. Blunted on Reality, the group's debut studio album, was solid, but didn't make the waves the group knew they were capable of. Fast forward 2 years and we get what we didn't know at the time would be the group's final album, unless... Nah, we knew that was it. But if you were going to call it quits, go out with a bang. Ready or Not, Killing Me Softly with his song, and Fuji Law would all help the album top the Billboard 200, becoming the third best-selling album of 96. And let's keep it 100. Lauren clearly stole the show here. Not to discredit Wyclef and Pras' contributions, but without fail, Miss Hill would consistently claim the best verse on every song through her melodic delivery, unorthodox lyricism, and soulful charm. The record would earn them a Grammy for Best Rap Album, along with another one for Best R&B Performance by a duo duo or group, they're Killing Me Softly, a feat you don't see every day. Over 7 times platinum and still the best-selling album by a hip-hop group of all time. Outcast is a duo, not a group. You're probably wondering why we have it so low on the list. Honestly, it's a combination of factors. Mainly the album's top-heavy nature and sizable portion of sampled or covered material. Quite frankly, when Lauren isn't on the mic, our ears tune out more often than not. And while we think they killed it with songs like Ready or Not, Killing Me Softly, and No Woman Cry, the former leans heavily on the dramatic song of the same name they sampled, and the latter two are outright covers. 96 was one of hip-hop's most dense, versatile, and memorable years, and while we have to give credit where it's due, we think the albums from this point on make a stronger point of showing and proving their classic status. Number 7, UGK, Riding Dirty. Pip and Bun really put on for the Candy Paint Slab pushers with this one. Already 2 albums in, the Underground Kings went for broke on their classic Riding Dirty. Despite no singles or music videos to accompany.
We gotta see how far they go. If I'm thinking of more albums from '96. If certain albums, if they on this list, I completely understand. But this should be in the top 5. UGK should be in the top 5. I feel like Lil' Kim should be in the top 5 too. But damn, 96 was a tough ass year, bro.
The project, right?
But Tupac for damn sure better be number 1. We ain't finna have no problems up here. I know for damn sure Tupac better be number 1. I don't care if it's the Machiavelli album. I don't care if it's All Eyes on Me. Tupac better be number 1. That's all I know.
Riding Dirty will become the group's critical and commercial high point. Slappers like One Day, Murder, and Diamonds in Wood served as a precursor to the chopped and screwed sound that would soon dominate airwaves across the country. N.O. Joe and Pimp C filled out the producer credits, with Sergio lacing 3 in the Morning and 3-2 securing co-production on One Day. Over the years, we've seen UGK getting their flowers from artists like Drake, Big Crit, and Kodak, rightfully so. But when you take a retrospective look at everything they've accomplished, you start to see how insanely underappreciated they are. Their 3rd studio album is influenced at its peak while still being inventive and characteristic of what made the South unique. The flows on this joint were well ahead of their time, not to mention the chemistry between Bun's out-of-this-world lyricism and Pimp C's exorbitant personality over these country rap tunes. Riding Dirty would initially receive very little national attention before its acclaim broke through regional barriers and put the whole game on notice, even getting praise from Tupac after fellow Houston rapper Scarface put him onto the album. Another 5 years would pass before Pip and Bun released another project, but that's the kind of cushion you get when you drop an album like Riding Dirty. We just wish they had tapped Scarface for a verse, because his vocals on One Day or 3 in the Morning would have been legendary. Number 6, The Roots, Philadelphia Half-Life.
No.
If you put a gun to our head,
hell no. We is not finna put these niggas over Lil' Kim and fucking UGK. We not doing this, bro. I don't care how goodly produced the songs are. I don't care how lyrical these motherfuckers are. Them 2 albums alone, Lil' Kim, I don't even know how you put this over the Fugees, to be honest with you, but okay.
Forcing us to pick one record that truly captures the best qualities of the group's 96 LP, it would be The Hypnotic. With backing vocals from D'Angelo, fresh off Brown Sugar, their neo-soul infused live instrumentation and storytelling is so immersive, Toni Morrison would be impressed. These are just prerequisites when looking at the Roots' consistent and cohesive body of work. This joint has features from Common, Q-Tip, Bahamadia, and Cassandra Wilson, among others. Do we need to keep going? Released to universal acclaim, Philadelphia would make many year-end lists, which would cement their competitive back and forth with another group in this ranking, no spoilers. On Universe at War, Common and Tariq trade verses like a Rocky montage. What they do sees the group getting the melodic assist from Raphael Sadiq, but No Alibi is our pick from the album's strongest lyrical showcase. Fun fact for our sample junkies, Clones has a dope flip on Summer in the City by Quincy Jones. This track would also be used in songs like Passing Me By Pharcyde and Set It Off by Main Source. Astute fans with hard copies of Philadelphia Half-Life may notice something strange with the track listing. From their debut album Organics to their most recent And Then You Shot Your Cousin, they've told a continuous story with the track list to match. Due to an unfortunate fire at Universal Studios back in 2008, the master tapes for this album were lost. Luckily, we live in a digital age where Quest, Thought, and the rest of the collective's musical genius can be studied indefinitely. Be sure to check out Our Roots ranking if you haven't already. Easily one of hip-hop's most underappreciated catalogs. Number 5, Nas, It Was Written. Nas' sophomore album following his masterful intro.
I was expecting this to be in the top 2, but I was expecting this to be top 2. I hope you're not putting Jay-Z shit over this, because I think Jay-Z came. Didn't Jay-Z drop Reasonable Doubt around this time frame? Yeah, I'm definitely not putting Reasonable Doubt over it. It Was Written. I mean, listen, y'all can feel how y'all want to feel, but It Was Written is still, that shit still go hard.
Drove with Illmatic was largely overlooked upon its arrival. We know how hard it can be to divorce expectations from reality, but the truth is that nothing Nas dropped would have satisfied us following what many consider to be the greatest hip-hop album of all time. It Was Written doesn't have an array of iconic producers its predecessor had, but with that trade-off came his most descriptive and in-depth storytelling to date. Suspect, I Give You Power, and Shootouts are all fully fleshed out movie scripts waiting to be cast, character development and all. After pursuing a more polished sound and style on the follow-up, Nas would have to fend off accusations of selling out and biting of the rapper's style. While we can hear inspiration throughout the project, we can confidently say only Nas could have executed on this level bar none. He already came into the game with a mastery and understanding that only Biggie could compete with. But even Big wasn't the storyteller Nasty Nas proved himself to be. It Was Written would be Nas's first album to top the charts while selling 270,000 copies its first week. Sitting at triple platinum, the album remains his most commercially successful project. We don't know if it was the fallout from pursuing a different sound or chasing that initial high, but Nas would spend the next 5 years recreating Illmatic to varying levels of disappointment. His sophomore record would see the first appearance from the short-lived supergroup The Firm. On a side note, with the backlash that Nas' coming received for being underwhelming, what made Nas and Dre think to roll out a whole album? We think The Firm could have enjoyed a longer window of success had they stuck with a producer more closely tied in with that gritty New York sound. In the years since its initial reception, It Was Written has secured consensus classic status. The only change we would have made is the order in which these albums were released. Illmatic set the bar so high out the gate that it's a testament for Nas to stew beyond the Mount Rushmore of hip-hop despite not dropping a comparable project in the 30 years followed. Number 4, Machiavelli, The Don Illuminati, 7-Day Theory.
Okay.
Don't let the pseudonym fool you. Machiavelli is arguably Pac at his peak. Dropping nearly 2 months after his untimely death, Don Illuminati parallels Shakur's perceived isolation and persecution. These were the themes that he had frequently touched on across Me Against the World and All Eyes on Me, adding more unease and paranoia. It wasn't all foreboding and over-the-shoulder glances though. Songs like To Live and Die in LA, Hold Your Head, and Against All Odds remind listeners that Pac was only 25 years young, navigating as a pivotal pop culture and political figure. Immortalized in the hearts of hip-hop fans across the globe, 7-Day Theory combines the close-knit nature of Me Against the World with the career-defining album cuts of All Eyes on Me. Throughout the album, he addresses his various feuds, coming to terms with his inevitable demise, and future ambitions to overhaul the systematically hostile institutions that antagonized him all his life. Don Illuminati feels like that TV show that was just hitting its stride when it got canceled out of nowhere. We were torn on which of the 2 albums would get the higher spot, but ultimately couldn't deny the whole album's worth of classic songs within All Eyes on Me. Still, it speaks volumes that despite the name change, Tupac was able to drop 2 of the best albums in the year when hip-hop was going through one of its most competitive periods. If we're comparing rappers and athletes here, we think it's fair to say Pac had a Mamba-esque work ethic, as not many rappers mimicked his time in the studio. Did we mention that 7-Day Theory was recorded in only 3 days? It took 4 days to mix and master, thus the name. That's insane. Before we jump into the top 3, it's honorable mention time. These are the dope projects that also released that just barely missed our top 10. Shout out to Busta's The Coming, Ghostface's Iron Man, and Redman's Muddy Waters. All fire albums.
The disrespect.
Was insane, and only 10 can make it.
The
so if you got any of
disrespect.
those in the top 3, not today.
The
Here's what we did have,
disrespect.
Check it out. Number 3, All Eyes on Me. The most
What album was better than this? I really want to know what album was better than this. Ain't no fucking way. What album in 1990 motherfucking 6 was better than this. To this album. Damn near 50 tracks. 50. Every damn song on here would go platinum. Damn near every song on here has either got a gold or a platinum plaque. This album is diamond. How is this not number one? What album was better than this? All Eyes on Me is hands down the best album of 1996. It's not even fucking close. Production, the quality, the quantity, perfection. Ain't no fucking way, bro. Ain't no fucking way. Ain't no fucking way. This list is garbage. Well, it's your personal opinion. It's your personal opinion. But my personal opinion, shit is garbage. You got It Was Written, top 5. You put a Roots album over Lil' Kim and the Fugees. You got this album at number 3. Nah, bro. Nah.
Bountiful album and one of rap's most prolific
I'm
catalogs.
hoping
All Eyes on Me.
if Jay-Z album is better than Pac album,
to the ear-grabbing classics,
I'm finna cut this damn video off. If Jay-Z album is better than Pac album, I'm finna cut this damn video off.
Between applauding greatness and acknowledging posthumous bias. We think the album is split right down the middle, with half of the album being some of the most impactful songs of the 90s, and the other half having the Outlaws on it. All jokes aside, Pac's prolific run was made only possible by his control the spotlight while you have it approach to recording. Notoriously recording multiple tracks in a day, Shakur would lay down his vocals and immediately move on to the next song, letting producers take the reins and iron out the kinks in post-production. While this one-track mindedness allowed him to put out a lifetime's worth of music and movies in a 4-year span, it also removed a lot of creativity and uniqueness from the finished products. With nearly 30 songs and just over a dozen producers, it's natural that large portions of the album would sound the same. It also doesn't help that this period of his recordings would comprise the majority of all his released music, both during and after his lifetime. Shout out to one of the game's greatest who had the stroke of genius to put Life Goes On and 2 of America's Most Wanted on the same album. Drop a line in the comments and settle the debate now. Which is the better double disc? This or Biggie's Life After Death? And yes, we're working on that double disc album list too. Number 2, Jay-Z, Reasonable Doubt.
We done here. We done. I don't even want to know. We done. Goodbye.